Thank you, Patrick. Good morning and welcome. I'm Bobby Mestis, Broncos Director of Youth and High School Football, and I'm joined by Broncos President Damani Leach, VP of Community Impact and Executive Director of the Denver Broncos Foundation, Allie Engelken, and CHSAA Commissioner Mike Kruger. Thank you all for being here, along with other athletic officials from our state. It's also an honor to have Broncos owner and Denver Broncos Foundation Board Chair, Carrie Walton-Penner, here today. Carrie and Greg and the entire Walton-Penner family ownership group have provided tremendous resources and support for girls flag football and so many other high-impact youth programs. Thank you, Carrie, for your dedication to girls flag and our community. This is a historic day for Colorado and female high school athletics. Yesterday, the CHSAA Legislative Council sanctioned girls flag football as an official high school sport, making Colorado the 11th state to do so. We've come a long way in a short amount of time. In December of 2021, and alongside 3 metro area school districts, conversations around first girls flag pilot program began. After hundreds of games, 2 unofficial state tournaments, 6 CHSAA board and committee presentations with unanimous approvals, and many, many miles traveling across the state in support of girls flag, we are so proud to welcome this new sport. Thank you to everyone to my left at this press conference and throughout our community for supporting girls high school athletics. A special thanks to the Flag Football Committee, athletic directors, coaches, officials, and to the 1,300 student athletes for taking a chance on an emerging sport. It is now my honor to welcome Broncos owner and Foundation Board Chair, Carrie Walton-Penner.
Great. Thank you, Bobby. Good morning to everyone. I appreciate your introduction and everything that you've done to make today happen. You've been across the state of Colorado for the last several months and the last few years to make sure that this day came to be. Allie, who leads our community impact team, along with Bobby, have championed this effort every step of the way. I'm really grateful to both of you for all of this work. I also want to thank CHSAA, led by Mike Kruger, who's commissioner, and the athletic directors and coaches who have supported and developed our pilot program. This has been an extraordinary partnership, including support from the NFL, which has made flag football a key priority. Most of all, I want to recognize all the incredible young women, the student athletes, who have made this a reality. Ultimately, it's because of them that Colorado has joined 10 other states to sanction girls flag football as an official varsity sport. On behalf of our ownership group, we're proud to celebrate this historic milestone. As you know, the Broncos are passionate about programs that help youth thrive mentally, emotionally, and physically. What we're commemorating today is not just another option for student athletes. Of the nearly 1,500 girls who took part in our flag football pilot programs across the state, most said that if they hadn't been able to play flag, they wouldn't have played a sport at all in the fall. That's why this moment matters. It matters for every girl who loves football but has never seen a place for herself. It matters for every student who has watched others find their passion. For every high school kid looking for her team, her people, her community, this matters. It's also clear that this is part of a larger movement in women's sports, and we're drawing attention like never before. These athletes are inspiring millions of individuals from every background in the United States and across the world, bringing people together in new ways, fostering new fan bases, and creating new communities. With girls flag football in Colorado, more young women will be able to participate in a game they love. More young women will join teams and create relationships that last a lifetime. To all the trailblazing athletes who helped launch this sport, you've not only found your community, you've been a part of building one. As you continue making history, the entire Broncos organization and all of Broncos country is on your team, and you're now part of ours. Of course, every team needs a uniform. I just happen to have one here with me today, and I'd like to present it on behalf of the Denver Broncos to one of the amazing flag football student athletes, Sailor Swanson. Sailor is a junior at Arvada West High School and a 2023 state flag champion. We're so proud to have her here with us today. Please join me in welcoming Sailor to the podium. Thank you.
First of all, thank you Denver Broncos organization for your support and for inviting me to represent Colorado High School girls flag football. I am truly honored to celebrate this historic day with you. These past 2 seasons have been life-changing. Playing for Arvada West and our team also representing the Denver Broncos at regionals and at nationals. Winning the flag football state championship this season was a dream come true for my teammates and I. It means everything to have the opportunity to compete in a sport I've loved since my childhood. I could tell you firsthand, every flag football player in Colorado has tremendous knowledge of the game, are exceptional playmakers, and have a genuine love and passion for football. Colorado girls flag football is so excited for next season. The sky's the limit to what the future holds for Colorado and nationwide, with increased opportunities for girls to pursue flag football in all age groups in high school and beyond. I want to thank CHSAA for this historic moment in Colorado sports history. And now, please welcome CHSAA Commissioner Mike Kruger for some additional comments.
Sailor, thank you, and good morning. With the first pick in the 2024 draft, oh wait, these are Damani's notes. Sorry, Damani, apologize for that. It is a historic day, and it's a historic moment for our state. I want to start with some thank yous. I want to start with thanking the Denver Broncos and the Denver Broncos Foundation, Carrie Walton-Penner, Damani, the whole team. We couldn't be here today without the support of the Denver Broncos. I want to thank the leaders of the school districts that piloted this opportunity for our girls. Larry Bull from Cherry Creek, Patrick Simpson from Jeffco, Kevin Benji and John Andrew from Denver Public Schools. We wouldn't be here without them, their teams, and the efforts that they put in over the last few years. Your leadership and your vision are incredible. I want to personally thank Allie Engelken for her support, her friendship, her collegiality, her vision and her leadership to make this dream come true for girls in the state of Colorado. And to my great friend for many years and leader in our community, in our state, Bobby Mestis, for the work that he did. It's probably one of those situations where it's going to go unseen just how many hours, how many phone calls, how many miles Bobby put on his car, the late nights setting up games, playing the role of an athletic director and still supporting our community in his role as the director of youth community football. So Bobby, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. We wouldn't be here today without your leadership, and I appreciate you as a person. Your heart that you have as a servant leader is just amazing. So Bobby Mestis, thank you. While offering my thoughts yesterday with our member schools prior to our vote, I shared a text message that my good friend Megan Scremin, the CEO of Colorado Special Olympics, sent me. It was a video of her daughter playing flag football. And she said, "I know the state will be voting on this tomorrow. I just wanted to send you this video of my daughter scoring her first touchdown. And by the way, she outran all the boys." So, she signed it. She said, "Girls will continue, I'm hoping that girls flag will continue to be an option for her because she already loves it at 8 years old. Signed, a proud mom." That resonated with me. At the same time as I spoke to our state and my colleagues yesterday, I had the picture of my little 2-year-old granddaughter holding a mini-sized football. It's a picture on my phone I just had pulled up. It reminded me that the question before us yesterday, it was about what was best for high school girls in the state of Colorado, but it was bigger than that. It was truly about all the young girls, all the young females in our state. It was a question that demanded our attention, our action, and our unwavering commitment to equality and opportunity. It was a question that spoke to the foundational principles and values that we stand for as an organization and for a community, as a community. The voice of our female athletes and Sailor and her friends and teammates, they spoke resoundingly with a call for inclusivity, empowerment, and the chance to pursue their passions. I am proud to serve a membership of Colorado schools who embraced this responsibility, they heeded this call, and they leaned into the foundational principles and the values that we do stand for. I'm proud to live in a community where leaders like Carrie Walton-Penner, Allie Engelken, Damani Lynch, Bobby Mestis, and the Denver Broncos organization lead and serve with passion and vision. I'm proud to live and serve in a state that leads the country in participation of high school female athletes. By offering girls flag football as a sanctioned sport, we're not only expanding opportunities for young women and their personal growth and success, but we are also fostering a culture of inclusivity and empowerment that reverberates far beyond the field and for generations of young women to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. At this time, we'll begin the Q&A portion of the press conference with questions for Mike, Donnie, and Allie, as well as Bobby at the podium. If you have a question, please state your name and affiliation. And we have a couple wireless mics on both sides, but it looks like we'll throw Mike Kliss.
Yep, Mike Kliss with 9 News. Damani, this is for you, being a NCAA guy and with the whole Caitlin Clark experience. Can you just talk about all the momentum that's going on right now with women's sports?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I think two things come to mind. I think one, just broadly, women's sports. I think that we're in an unprecedented period of commercial success for women's sports. I think both collegiately and professionally. When you have 20 million people watching a women's Final Four national championship game is just incredible. But I think you're seeing it professionally, collegiately, whether that is basketball, soccer, volleyball, softball, all of those things. I think women's sports has proven to be good business. So this is a really special time, I think, certainly in that regard. But then, yeah, I spent 17 years at the NCAA, and this is a bit of a full circle career moment for me. So not only supporting it here at a high school level, my colleagues that are still at the NCAA, I know they're working hard for it to become an NCAA championship sport. My time at the NFL, supporting international, growing the game around the world. Getting it to a position where it's going to be in the Olympics is really, really special. And seeing the popularity of the sport around the world, not just in the United States, it's great. So hopefully we'll see Saylor in LA in 2028. No pressure.
Eric Dalala, DenverBroncos.com. Allie, Damani, if you were speaking directly to a girls' high school student athlete or middle school student athlete, what would your message to them be about why to participate in high school flag football?
Yeah, from a school engagement standpoint, we believe that all girls and any high school kid should have the opportunity to choose what's best for them. And so for girls flag football to become sanctioned and an option for girls across our state means that there are more homes and places and senses of belonging that we can create as a state for girls to succeed. We believe that there are, as Carrie mentioned, mental, emotional, and physical benefits to playing high school athletics, and we see it transcend far beyond the field. So in the classroom, we see greater attendance when girls are participating in sports. We see higher grades. We see more dedication to the school building, all which impacts a community as a whole. And so this is just the first step, but I would share with girls, I hope that they feel supported, and I hope that they feel seen. And if girls flag football is their sport, I hope that they feel empowered to come out this fall, because we know the competition will only grow. And Arvada West, as well as so many other of our 50 pilot schools, set the bar really high, and we know that there's more to do.
All of that is great. I would just add, it's also an incredibly low barrier to entry sport from an equipment standpoint. You can use existing fields, reposition them. You just need really flags and a ball. And I think that's why not only can it grow in the U.S., but around the world.
Nick Kosmeyer with The Athletic. Allie, you've been with the organization for some time, and I'm just curious about the origin of this whole project. How far back did conversations, even informally start about this as a project for the Broncos to take up? And then how did it kind of really start getting off the ground a couple years ago?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Denver Broncos and the Denver Broncos Foundation for decades have supported youth flag football. A lot of that has been through co-ed teams and leagues throughout the state. So flag football has always been a priority because of the low barrier to entry, the opportunity for kids to learn the game of football before potentially transitioning into a tackle or another format. conversations really started heating up, I would say, in 2021. So coming out of COVID, understanding that flag football was one of the fastest growing sports in the country, it was an opportunity for us to be a leader in the state and really convene incredibly like-minded individuals and school districts to join us. So it was approved by the Denver Broncos Foundation Board for funding and support in late 2021. At that point, we knew Jefferson County Public Schools, Cherry Creek School District, and Denver Public Schools would be our initial pilot districts to work with. And then working alongside Mike and the CHSAA team, there's a rigorous sanctioning process in Colorado, vastly different than what we've seen across the country in some of the other states. And so we immediately got to work kind of ticking off the boxes, making sure we were aligning. And as we were growing, it was thoughtfully so that we could see expansion at these levels. I'd also like to offer to Bobby if you had anything to add to that related to just the process.
You know, first and foremost, thank you to the schools that took a chance. We know that adding a new sport is not an easy task, so without that courage to take this on, we would have no place to start. So I think getting off to a good first year was crucial. And then after we had one successful year of a pilot season under our belt, we were able to double in size, and by then we felt like we were prepared to grow. So yeah, just without the schools, without the athletic directors, the players, the coaches, none of this is around. So just a big thanks to them first and foremost.
Parker Gabriel with the Denver Post. Allie, Damani, obviously there's a lot of work to get to here. There's a lot of setup, I'm guessing, from here. How do you see sort of the Broncos' involvement continuing, evolving, progressing, like from this point going forward? Go for it.
Absolutely. We're excited to continue supporting this sport this season and beyond. We do that through not only financial commitment for schools as well as high impact programs for youth, but also through a lot of programmatic elements that will mirror our support for boys tackle football. That includes officials and referee recruitment and training. That includes coaches clinics and sanctioning, ensuring that coaches feel prepared to teach an emerging sport and coach an emerging sport. That includes a regional NFL flag tournament, which Sailor and her sister Sarah participated in. That will continue in partnership with the NFL. So we see our opportunity for support to continue to grow. Also proud to share that we partnered with Children's Hospital Colorado this year on an intensive 12-month research study specific to female student athletes playing girls flag football. And so we'll have results published in partnership with Children's Hospital later this summer and have the opportunity to continue studying how participation in athletics can benefit girls throughout the state.
Jeff Legwell, ESPN. I'm just curious, do you have you say 50 pilot schools, do you have a projection or a plan for how many schools you'd like in the future? And is there an opportunity for maybe some of the rural communities to have consolidated teams?
Well, my goal is 367 high schools. You know, the growth that we saw from year one to year two, in just participation numbers, you know, 161% growth rate in the number of participants, jumping from mid-20s schools up over 70 schools, teams that had programs. So, and schools, we do know, and I think I'll go back to what Damani said, the neat thing about girls flag football or flag football in general is the barriers to it are not hard to overcome. It doesn't take a lot of equipment. The jamboree styles that were incorporated, I know, and speaking to my colleagues across the state, the athletic and activity directors, when you can run 3 games on one full-size 120-yard field, that makes it, you know, the facility availability, the equipment cost, and you don't need, you know, 30 or 40 people out there to have a team. So I think the access, and we have already seen interest from the rural parts of our state. I was really proud yesterday for many reasons, but even for the parts of our state that know right now that the reality probably for them just isn't the timing of it right now. You know, schools out on the western slope, schools down south, out east, to recognize that maybe it's not the timing of it for them and they'll have to grow to get that and see where that interest lies. But the fact that they said, we support this because we know it's great for our state. And I think that was a strong message across the membership. And I was really proud of that fact. You know, I do expect that we'll see growth into the rural parts of our state. We've already seen the interest. We did do some surveys as part of the piloting process, and there was significant interest in not just in the metro or the I-25 corridor, but from across the state.
Ryan Edwards, KOA. This question for any of you. I was kind of curious, what was some of the early response you guys got from the schools as well as from the kids about what this is going to look like? And then also, did you feel there was some momentum added by the fact that the spotlight has been so heavy on women's sports?
I can speak to pilot year one, and Patrick Simpson, I'm going to steal your story from Jeffco. When we initially launched with 22 schools for the 2022 season, we were anticipating anywhere from 10 to 20 girls coming out for each team. So we were pleasantly surprised, but also a little shocked when Chatfield High School had 85 girls show out for tryouts. So last year during our expanded pilot program, 17 of those schools actually fielded more than one team, with some schools actually fielding 4 teams that were participating in jamborees. And I think those numbers are what surprised us the most, but that also showed us what we had. When you don't know and you come out and you see the support, and the girls voted with their feet, like they wanted to be there, they wanted to play. They also recruited others to join in the second season, and I think that's what really showed us from a support standpoint that we needed to back what they were sharing with us.
I would add that to that as well. I think one of the numbers and the data that really stood out to me was that over half of the participants were not playing another sport, or were not interested in being, weren't at the time, weren't playing a fall sport, or weren't in any other activity. That speaks loudly when, 6 out of 10 are saying, hey, this might be something for me. And, I think that's, again, going back to that, that's where we need to heed that call.
I would just add, for those of you who haven't seen it live and in person, I would encourage you to do it. I think when you see the game, the speed and the athleticism of it, the opportunities for it are undeniable. It's an incredibly fun sport to watch.
Yes, Mr. Kruger, as I understood it, the Broncos did most of the funding through the pilot program. Who's going to how will they get funding now from the schools? Who will take care of that? And was that the funding maybe one reason why there was rumors that this wasn't a slam dunk to get approved?
Well, I think as all of you know, school budgets are tight, and it's not, I have yet to talk to an athletic director that calls me and says, I'm trying to find something to do with all the money I have. That call hasn't happened, but I think, yes, so costs are always a concern regardless of what it is. But honestly, I think we looked at that and said, we did get incredible support from the Denver Broncos, and also I might add, USA Football, who provided equipment for the schools. And I think that Allie said it, we know that the Broncos will continue to support this in so many ways. But with that said, it's a sanctioned sport just like any of our other sports. So the responsibilities for funding that sport do fall to the schools. And so then there are costs for transportation, for officials, for facilities workers. All those will become a reality. But again, I think the thing that we pointed out was this is one sport, if we luckily are going to add one, it is cost effective. And if we want to do it, it doesn't going to cost a lot of money to schools. But any money to schools right now is a lot because of the way that our school funding works. And I might also add that goes also for our athletic and activities directors as well. There's a lot on their plates, and when we start talking about expansion, we have to be sensitive to that. There's men and women that are working across our state, and their passion is about providing opportunity. And when we expand, it does expand their, the things that they have to do as well. But every single one of them steps up and says, hey, this is what's best for our kids, and we're willing to do this. And that's a pretty great compliment to their passion.
I'd also like to add, in addition to USA Football providing equipment, Nike provided a significant grant to cover the cost of all uniforms for any emerging team that joined in during the pilot season. USA Football and the Denver Broncos Foundation also offer grant programs where you can apply for grant funding specific to emerging sports. And so I think there will be many other resources available to the schools in our state. And that's the responsibility of the Broncos to share that alongside CHSAA to ensure that schools know what support is out there for them.
For Allie and Bobby, the team's done a lot. The players have also been at a lot of these events, these tournaments. To you guys, what has that meant? And then what have you seen it mean to the student athletes when some of the Broncos come out?
I don't know who had more fun out there at those games, our current players or the girls playing on the field. But that support has been tremendous. But our players have done so many wonderful things in the community. This is just one more activation that they can be a part of. what was most exciting to see is just how much they were involved with the game. Can't tell you how many times I would see one of our players with a playbook, and they were calling the defense for one of the schools. And so it just wasn't one of those let's show up and take a few photos. Like, they were engaged, and it was a two-way street. The girls loved having them there, but I think the players loved being there just as much.
I think for some of our players who may have started their football careers playing flag football, it almost brings them back to their roots a little bit. Also, we have so many players that have daughters, so we had a lot of girl dads that were wanting to support, and I think potentially seeing their girls one day participating in a sport like this gave them added motivation to be a great supporter, but also a great honorary coach in some ways.
Justin Adams, CBS Colorado. One of the things that we have seen in issue-wise, especially when you talk about high school football for the boys, is there are some parents who are holding out their kids from playing high school football. And there could be some parents that are still on the fence when you talk about high school flag football. What encouragement would you have for the parents who are seeing their girls wanting to play? What reason would you say this is why you should play this game?
I can take that. You want to take that?
Well, I feel uniquely qualified to speak about this. My experience prior to filling this role, I obviously spent a number of years working with the CHSAA organization as an athletic and activities director. But my role prior to becoming commissioner was working with USA Football in the athlete development program. And you're right about that. There's concerns, but I also see those same concerns when I worked with colleagues from USA Hockey, USA Soccer. We're getting ready to pilot a national program on ACL injuries for girls and that coalition. So, but when you start talking about the mental health benefits, the overall wellness benefits of participation, and the inherent benefits of belonging to a team, there are risks in a lot of the things that we do. And but we follow closely. We'll do our very best to make sure that we provide safe environments, both physically and emotionally and mentally, for all of our kids, regardless of the sport. So I think when you look at it, we have to weigh the costs and the potential possibility that we could get injured at any number of things. I'm pretty much a stickler for making sure my grandkids wear helmets when they're riding their bikes, and just in case they fall. But with that being said, it doesn't preclude us from making sure that we're doing our very best to make sure coaches are trained, coaches have the information they need. We have a lot of requirements for coaches before you can coach in the state of Colorado. But relative to that, we just need to provide the best instruction we can and make sure that we're coaching well. I used to oftentimes speak to many youth coaches across the country, and it was relative to tackle football. And I always felt that the instruction you're receiving is extremely important part of it. We can do everything possible in terms of safety requirements and mandates, but at the end of the day, how we coach our kids and take care of them, and that's not just physical, that's just as important to make sure that we have a safe environment emotionally and mentally as well, to reap those benefits, those inherent benefits of the mental wellness, of the physical wellness that can come from participating in sport.
Preliminary research from our Children's Hospital study found that girls flag football was no more dangerous than any other sport that was studied, and that includes physical education classes. 21% of our athletes during the 2023 season experienced an injury that held them out from a minimum of one practice or game, and the vast majority of those injuries were finger sprains and strains, just based on nature of grabbing for flags in practice and in the game.
Hi, I'm Marty with KOA Radio. This is kind of overall for all of you, but I'll think specifically for you, Allie, and you all have kind of touched on it, and this is kind of from a 50,000-foot level, but how important is modeling with this? For example, we know we're in this special moment with Caitlin Clark, but a lot of young women say, I can do that. I can play college basketball or at a level. I have access. By doing this, does it offer legitimacy to what you're doing, credibility for young women to do this? We have, female owners. We have, Mrs. Penner and Medley Hobson, obviously part of the Broncos organization. How important is for young women to see competing at this at a legitimate level in a legitimate league or organization for them to say, I can access that and be a part of that?
Yeah, legitimacy is a great word to use there. It also creates a pipeline for access. So if you were a young girl who played on a co-ed flag football team and you hit middle school and you're like, what's next for me? The ability to see yourself in the next step allows you to engage deeper in that moment, I truly believe. I think for the Denver Broncos being a leader not only in Colorado but across the NFL, we're very fortunate to have incredible ownership, but also incredible female ownership. And I think when we talk about this moment in sports, there have been incredible women working in sports for decades. That is not new, but I think being able to shine a spotlight on that moment now and show girls an opportunity not only on the field but off the field, we're doing right by the Colorado community and being in the leader in that.